We all know that bison ranching has become popular in North America, as the unique characteristics of this breed of cattle are increasingly attracting commercial breeders. Realizing the profits from raising wild bison, Australian farmers are also increasing their breeding and raising of this breed. So, what do Australian farmers breed bison for? Let's find out with us right now. How do Australian farmers breed bison cattle for meat and milk? In recent years, North American farmers have been steadily domesticating wild bison populations in their areas. This is both for economic gain and to protect ecosystems from being eroded by these wild species. Australian farmers have also been successful in breeding and crossbreeding wild bison populations for commercial purposes. This is the largest land mammal native to North America. Male bison can weigh over 1,000 kilograms and stand about 1.8 meters tall at the shoulder, while females are about 1.5 meters tall and weigh between 350 kilograms and 600 kilograms. Due to their size advantage, bison provide more meat for ranchers, so Australian farmers have taken measures to domesticate and breed bison to turn them into farm animals. With this measure, farmers can breed high-yielding hybrid cattle and inherit good qualities such as adaptability and endurance of wild bison. Besides, it also contributes great economic value to the beef industry in the region. The process of domesticating wild bison is not simple. It requires experienced farmers to bring them to the farm. Because wild bison are very aggressive, they can attack people and destroy the farm. Sometimes, farmers use specialized vehicles and strong fences to herd these giant wild bison into the farm. The fence is made of sturdy metal to prevent bison from colliding with it and damaging it. The fence also helps protect the herd from escaping and from attacks by other predators. After building a habitat close to nature, the cows will be raised on the farm for a period of time. Once they are familiar, Australian farmers practice grazing by driving the cows out to pasture during the day and returning to the farm at night. Bison are hardy animals that thrive in a variety of environments. They require less feed and water than regular cattle, making their farming more sustainable. Some farmers raise bison to restore natural grasslands and promote environmentally friendly agriculture. characterized by their long, shaggy brown coats, bison spend most of their day grazing in their 15-hectare habitat. As herbivores, they prefer a diet of mainly grass and hay but are fed grains and various other feeds as a special treat throughout the week. Many bison farmers use selective breeding to improve meat quality, increase productivity, and ensure genetic diversity. Farmers select bulls and cows that have outstanding characteristics such as rapid growth, good muscle development, and high disease resistance. Some ranchers cross bison with domestic cattle to create beefalo hybrids to produce the best hybrid cattle. Bison is still a niche product in Australia, but is gaining popularity due to its health benefits, unique flavor, and sustainability. While not as widely consumed as beef, lamb, or kangaroo, there is a growing interest among health-conscious consumers, foodies, and high-end restaurants in alternative red meats. This meat is lean, high in protein, and rich in nutrients. Bison meat is low in fat, low in calories, and high in omega-3s, making it ideal for athletes and health-conscious consumers.
Welcome to the American West, where brave and talented cowboys perform special tasks. Have you ever wondered how Western cowboys can tame wild cows on horseback? Without modern machinery, they can still control the ferocious cows. Today, we will explore the ultimate skills of these Western cowboys. Let's follow this journey. Since the late 19th century, cowboys have become an indispensable part of cattle raising activities on large ranches in the American West. On the vast grasslands, cows are often led to roam freely to find their own food. Therefore, cowboys must master the skills of controlling and taming the herd when necessary. Cowboy culture is not only a job, but also a way of life, a symbol of freedom and adventure. How can cowboys control and tame wild cows? Western cowboys tame cows on horseback with a perfect combination of technique and instinct. The cowboys' cow taming process begins with the discovery and approach of the cow herd. Then, they will seek to control the cows rhythmically. To do that, they need to create harmony between man and horse. When moving through the grasslands, precise reins and gentle spurs help create flexible movements, leading the herd in the desired direction.
What's that? Oh yeah.
After choosing the right cow, the cowboy begins to prepare the noose throwing technique. One of the skills related to the noose is called trick roping, in which the cowboy performs movements by spinning the noose in the air before wrapping it around the cow's neck. From horseback, the cowboy must not only adjust the force of the throw, but also calculate the distance and direction of the charging cow. With decisive and skillful movements, they create a perfect rope, tying it around the neck of the cow in a split second. After successfully controlling it, the cowboy quickly uses his skillful skills to knock down the cow, creating a situation of complete control. Sometimes, wild cows can be tied to all four legs or tied to a tree, tiring them out before the cowboy leads them back home. So, why do cowboys have to capture these cows? There are many important reasons related to cattle management and conservation. In the past, wild cows living in the wild needed to be captured to bring them to the ranch to domesticate and reproduce, helping to increase the gene pool and ensure the maintenance of the herd. In addition, semi-wild cows, raised on large grasslands, also need to be captured to transport to the ranch or sell at the market.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Additionally,
we hire cowboys.
Domesticating cattle not only helps ranchers maintain their herds, but also helps them control and protect their herds. This ensures a steady income for farmers and cowboys, helping them maintain their livelihoods. However, the most common demand today comes from the federal government. They need to remove wild cattle from public lands for ecological or even safety reasons. Therefore, cowboys are often paid to do this. When taming wild cattle from horseback, cowboys face many potential dangers. One of the biggest risks is being attacked by cows. When panicked, cows can react unexpectedly, attack cowboys, and cause serious, even life-threatening injuries. Besides, riding and running at high speed is also a constant danger. They have to be very careful not to fall off the horse or be thrown to the ground, which can lead to serious injuries. All of this requires cowboys to have courage and skillful skills to ensure their safety. But how do cowboys get so good at taming wild cows? It all starts with rigorous training. They start by learning how to ride well, developing a bond and understanding with their horse. Then, cowboys practice lassoing, a technique that requires precision and agility. They often spend hours practicing this move, from adjusting the distance to calculating the speed of the cow, helping them become proficient at catching cows. Cowboys will have to start their training with farm-raised cows or small non-aggressive cows. The training process will take place regularly until they can handle the situation proficiently. But it is not that simple. Those skills will need to continue to be perfected throughout life. Although times have changed, the work of cowboys still plays an important role in the modern livestock industry. They continue to use traditional techniques, but with the support of technology, work efficiency has been significantly improved. Today's cowboys are not only cattle herders, but also modern ranch managers. With the technique of taming cows from horseback, Western cowboys have become symbols of courage and freedom in American culture. What do you think about this? Leave a comment to let us know. Do you know which region has the largest horse meat processing and exporting industry in the world? It is not China or Europe, but South America has traditionally been the world's largest exporter of horse meat. With a long history of horse and cattle farming, countries like Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil have become major players in the global horse meat industry. Join us as we explore South America's largest horse meat processing plant. The tradition of horse breeding in South America began in the 16th century when Spanish and Portuguese settlers arrived and brought horses with them. Over time, the growing horse population combined with the vast grasslands of the region led to the development of a strong horse industry. Since then, horses have been an integral part of the economy and culture of the region. Horse meat processing plants in South America are primarily dedicated facilities designed to slaughter, process, and package horse meat. These plants adhere to strict hygiene and food safety regulations, ensuring that the meat quality meets international standards. The process begins with the humane slaughter of the horses, followed by careful inspection and grading of the meat. Finally, the meat may be further processed before being packaged and prepared for export. These plants often operate in regions with long-standing cattle and horse farming traditions. Integrating horse meat processing into the broader meat industry in South America allows these plants to benefit from existing infrastructure, a skilled workforce, and a regulatory framework governing meat production. The horse meat industry is an important economic sector in South America, especially in rural areas where agriculture and livestock farming are dominant. Horse meat plants provide employment and support local economies, providing jobs and stable income for millions of people. In areas where livestock farming is the main occupation, horse meat processing is a complementary activity that helps diversify income sources for farmers. The horse meat export market in South America is also very stable, with European countries such as Belgium, France, and Italy being the main importers. The demand for horse meat in these regions is driven by cultural preferences, where horse meat is considered a delicacy and a traditional food item. One of the reasons South America exports the most horse meat in the world is because of the low cost of raising horses. The region has abundant natural pastures and a favorable climate, making horse meat production less expensive than other regions. In addition, horse meat consumption is also increasing because South Americans believe that eating horse meat improves their health. Horse meat is leaner and less fatty than other red meats, which appeals to health-conscious consumers. Furthermore, the environmental impact of horse meat production in South America is generally lower than that of other types of livestock production. Horses require less feed and water than cows and goats, and they are often raised on natural pastures rather than grazing. This reduces the environmental impact of horse meat production, making it a more sustainable choice for many farms. One of the biggest challenges facing the horse meat industry is closely related to ethical issues. In some regions, notably North America and the UK, the consumption of horse meat is taboo, leading to criticism from animal rights activists. Issues such as the treatment of horses during transport, the conditions under which they are kept before slaughter, and the methods used in slaughterhouses are all areas of concern and controversy.
Le combat est inévitable. Le père.
Despite these concerns, the horse meat industry in South America continues to thrive, thanks to demand from countries where horse meat is culturally accepted and considered a delicacy. What if a cow was taxed? It may sound like a joke, but it's actually happening in Denmark. Lawmakers in the country have announced plans to tax farmers if their cows emit a certain amount of methane. The policy is aimed at addressing the negative impact of livestock on the environment, especially when they emit large amounts of methane, which contributes to the greenhouse effect. Livestock farming is one of the world's most polluting industries, particularly in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in 2015, the livestock sector alone contributed about 12% of man-made greenhouse gas emissions. Denmark, in particular, is one of the world's largest cattle producers. A quarter of the country's greenhouse gas emissions come from agriculture, more than any other sector. According to research, a cow in Denmark can emit 6 tons of CO2 equivalent per year, so the government of this country needs to take measures to reduce emissions from livestock farming. Accordingly, lawmakers in Denmark have come up with the idea of taxing farmers based on the methane emissions from their livestock. The aim is to encourage farmers to adopt emission reduction measures. This tax could be charged per capita depending on the amount of methane emitted. Dairy cows burp more due to their diet, so the tax would be higher than beef cattle. The tax would aim to reduce 70% of greenhouse gas emissions in 2030 compared to 1990. Accordingly, by 2030, Danish cattle farmers will be taxed at $43 per ton of carbon dioxide equivalent, rising to $108 by 2035. However, due to a 60% income tax deduction, the actual cost per ton will start at $17.30 and rise to $43 by 2035. This bill has only just been proposed by leaders in Denmark and has not yet been put into practice, because this tax has a direct impact on the economy of livestock farmers. But if the project is implemented and successful, it will have many great benefits. Researchers predict that the tax will cut the country's emissions by 1.8 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent by 2030. And of course, if successful, it will certainly bring about a major change in global animal agriculture, bringing about a whole new livestock industry with a more sustainable goal. Denmark is the first country to do so, targeting a major source of methane, one of the most potent gases contributing to global warming. And it is also the first country to hold cows accountable for their carbon emissions. To avoid the tax, cattle farmers are encouraged to use feed additives to make dietary changes that reduce the amount of methane their cattle emit. Substances such as seaweed, oil, or tannins in the cattle's diet to reduce the amount of methane released from digestion. Farmers also provide easily digestible feed that reduces fermentation in the cow's stomach, resulting in less methane production, emit more methane. Additionally, farms can adopt advanced technologies such as methane capture equipment or biogas plants to minimize the release of these gases into the environment. On pasture farms, cows need to be rotated to maintain soil carbon levels and improve grass growth, helping to reduce overall emissions. Healthier pasture quality can help cows burn more carbon, better digestion, and reduced methane emissions. Researchers can also use genetic engineering techniques to create livestock that emit less methane. In particular, selecting dairy cows not only helps reduce emissions, but also improves the quality of the animal's milk. Denmark is one of the countries with the largest dairy production industry in the world. In livestock farms, effective waste treatment systems are needed to prevent emissions such as nitrous oxide and methane. Manure needs to be collected in a designated area and treated quickly, such as biogas production. This method not only utilizes livestock waste, but also creates sustainable gas products. Combining these measures with sustainable agricultural policies and technologies could significantly reduce emissions while maintaining food production and the economic viability of livestock farming.
While we enjoy delicious glasses of milk every day, many farmers are facing the problem of rising feed prices. The process of producing and delivering milk to consumers is a long and challenging journey. Do these challenges affect the quality of the milk we consume every day? And why are feed prices skyrocketing? Find out in today's video. Dairy farms in the US are struggling because of high feed prices, partly due to China. People often think of cows grazing, but is that enough? For dairy farmers, that's definitely not enough. With hundreds, even thousands of dairy cows, providing a variety of feed is crucial. Cows need to be provided with enough nutrition to produce quality milk, helping farmers maximize profits. However, solving this problem is not easy. Feed prices are rising to record highs, reaching their highest level in many years. From 2019 to 2022, the cost of raising organic livestock in the United States increased by $825 million, essentially doubling the cost of animal feed. This pressure is weighing on farms and threatening the survival of the dairy industry. Faced with this challenge, the United States has seen a series of dairy farms closures. In the hills of northeastern Tennessee, thousands of farmers have dwindled to fewer than 40. A cow that produces about 24,000 pounds of milk brings in about $4,457, but the cost of producing that milk is $6,192, meaning the farmer is losing money. Faced with this challenge, the United States has seen a series of dairy farms closures. In the hills of northeastern Tennessee, thousands of farmers have dwindled to fewer than 40. A cow that produces about 24,000 pounds of milk brings in about $4,457, but the cost of producing that milk is $6,192, meaning the farmer is losing money. So what's driving the price of feed in the United States? One of the main reasons is China. What's the connection between the US dairy industry and China? The underlying cause likely dates back to 2018 or to 2019, when African swine fever broke out in China, decimating the pig herd. China is trying to rebuild its pig herd, increasing imports to feed like soybeans. Hundreds of millions of tons of soybeans are imported into China each year, driving up soybean prices. This has had a huge impact on the US livestock industry, leading to fierce competition in the global feed market. But the problem is not entirely China's, as the US is also facing drought, especially in California and the US West. Prolonged drought reduces the productivity of food crops such as corn and soya beans, causing feed reserves to decrease sharply, forcing producers to increase selling prices. For this reason, the government is unlikely to solve the problem in the short term, as the consequences of climate changes are becoming more evident and droughts will continue. How farmers can access water during droughts remains a controversial issue. But the problem is not entirely China's, as the US is also facing drought, especially in California and the US West. Prolonged drought reduces the productivity of food crops such as corn and soya beans, causing feed reserves to decrease sharply, forcing producers to increase selling prices. For this reason, the government is unlikely to solve the problem in the short term, as the consequences of climate changes are becoming more evident and droughts will continue. How farmers can access water during droughts remains a controversial issue. In addition, rising fuel prices are also causing headaches for farmers, although gasoline prices have cooled down compared to a few years ago. This cost still puts pressure on farms. Most feed mills today use modern equipment, so fuel consumption is higher. Dairy farms will also have to use more expensive feed. These factors have pushed up the cost of producing cow's milk, significantly reducing profit margins. Most organic grain for dairy cows in the United States is imported. The war in Ukraine negatively impacted organic crop production last year, tightening global supplies of these commodities and driving up prices. Additionally, the war in Ukraine has caused demand for organic Indian soybeans in Europe to skyrocket, leaving many US farmers struggling, as most of the organic soybeans and meal used by beef farmers comes from India. Despite the challenges, many farmers are looking for a suitable solution to adopt to the new situation. Adopting technology and changing production methods can be the key to getting through this period. Some farmers can reduce production costs by improving cow health, reproductive performance, and feed-to-milk conversion rates. Investing in precision technologies such as robotic milking systems, rotary stalls, and reproductive health technology can help reduce labor costs. The agricultural sector needs support from the government and communities to get through this crisis. This not only affects the domestic milk supply but also affects the welfare of many rural communities.
Welcome to our channel. Today, we will explore a traditional Chinese village where handmade charcoal production has existed for centuries. Traditional charcoal production not only brings income to farmers, but also crystallizes the culture of ancient villages. Don't take your eyes off the video to not miss interesting information. Charcoal making in China has existed for a long time, an indispensable part of the culture and life of many villages. Before gas became popular, every household had to rely on wood or charcoal to make fire. Today, although the demand for charcoal has decreased, the charcoal making profession still exists, thanks to the passion of those who want to preserve the tradition. The characteristic of traditional charcoal making villages is that the charcoal kiln is built of bricks or stones, forming a solid dome shape. The charcoal kiln consists of two main parts, the combustion chamber and the smoldering chamber, connected by heat pipes. The gaps in the kiln must be fixed and sealed with mud. The charcoal kiln must also have a kiln door to put in raw materials and take out charcoal, along with a chimney to discharge smoke and dissipate heat. To protect the kiln body from damage by rain and wind, farmers will arrange the kiln house and cover it above. To create quality charcoal products, choosing the type of wood is a prerequisite. Hardwood is often preferred because it produces high-quality charcoal. For example, acacia charcoal, popular in early Taiwan, is suitable for spicy grilled dishes such as wild boar. Longan charcoal, which is hard and dense, can maintain a long burning time, is smokeless at high temperatures, and has a light fruity smell. Mahogany charcoal, which is often used for seafood, is also harder and burns longer. Oak charcoal can be stored for a long time and has many uses such as fuel, grilling food, dehumidifying, etc. Finally, bamboo charcoal, which is porous and has strong absorption, is used to remove dirt, prevent moisture, and deodorize. After being cut into short pieces, the wood is left to dry for a period of time. The small branches will be used as fuel to burn the charcoal. Once prepared, the wood is moved into the kiln and stacked tightly inside. The stacking of the wood requires careful attention to ensure even heat conduction during the burning process. This is a laborious task, as the farmer has to transport a lot of wood to fill this giant kiln. The kiln door is then sealed with bricks and mud, leaving only a small opening for the fire to be lit. The kiln will burn continuously for several days, depending on the type of wood and how dry the tree is. Some types of wood only take about 10 days to turn into charcoal, while mangrove wood can take up to 32 days. During this time, the farmer must maintain the fire 24 hours a day to ensure the charcoal burning process goes smoothly. The charcoal burning process requires careful observation. The smoke from the kiln will gradually change from black to gray, white, clear blue, and smokeless. This is when the fire must be stopped and the kiln sealed to allow the carbonization process to take place. After that, it takes about 2 weeks for the kiln to cool naturally before the workers can take out the coal. The whole process from starting the kiln to taking out the coal takes about 30 to 45 days. When the kiln is opened, the temperature inside is usually very high. The working environment is extremely harsh, hot, and dusty. The coal after being taken out needs to be screened because not every batch produces good quality coal. Too big a fire will lead to too much carbonization, while too small a fire will not be enough to completely carbonize. If the coal core is dark, yellow, and bright, it means that the carbonization process is complete and the quality is good. On the contrary, dark gray indicates that the wood is not completely carbonized and is prone to producing black smoke, resulting in poor quality coal. Every step in the process requires meticulousness and precision, from maintaining the temperature in the kiln to checking the color and the quality of the charcoal. Charcoal production not only brings income to the people, but also has a significant impact on the environment. These craft villages often develop sustainably by planting new trees to replace the ones that have been exploited. The charcoal market is still very vibrant, with many demands from culinary and industrial uses. However, the focus needs to be on protecting the environment and finding ways to reduce emissions. Although the advent of modern technology and equipment has greatly affected the traditional charcoal production profession, many charcoal kilns still exist as cultural icons and tourist attractions. Did you know that garlic was once shunned by British and American cultures because its pungent smell lingered even after meals? However, by the late 1900s, the United States had emerged as the garlic capital of the world. About 24,000 acres of garlic were grown each year, yielding a total of about 400 million pounds. Large-scale factories and farms were once the pride of their country. So, what happened to the industry? Why did the million-dollar garlic factories close? Join me in today's video to find out the truth. The story of garlic in America begins in the early 1890s, when immigrants from southern Europe arrived in California's Santa Clara Valley. With fertile soil and a mild climate, garlic quickly became a staple in vegetable gardens. However, it wasn't until early 1929 that commercial garlic cultivation really took off, and the largest garlic farms were born. The garlic industry has emerged as a national phenomenon, bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue for farmers. California is the largest producer of garlic in the United States, with 90% of the country's garlic grown and processed here. The smell of garlic wafts through the towns, so you can easily recognize this as a large-scale garlic processing area. In the United States, garlic is usually planted in the fall, in carefully plowed and prepared raised beds. The timing of planting is extremely important. Plant early enough so that the soil does not freeze before the root system develops, but late enough that they do not emerge from the ground. According to statistics, there are hundreds of varieties of garlic grown in the United States, but the most common on farms are California early and California late. The garlic cloves will be planted about 1.5 inches deep. On large-scale farms, garlic planting is mainly done with specialized transplanters, which optimizes time and effort. Garlic takes about 9 months to grow and is ready to harvest when 40 to 60% of the leaves turn yellow, usually around mid-July. On some farms, garlic can be harvested by hand, but modern farms today often use automated machinery for greater efficiency. From the field, garlic is cleaned and transported to the processing plant, where sorting and packaging take place. Typically, garlic is sold by the pound, by the vine, or by the bulb. However, dried garlic accounts for about 75% of garlic consumed in the United States, so dried garlic processing plants are becoming more popular. Modern high-capacity machinery ensures that garlic is supplied to both domestic and export markets. One of the largest and most famous garlic producers in the United States is Gilroy, California. It even holds an annual garlic festival to celebrate this valuable crop. And you may not know it, April 19th is that anniversary. While once the garlic capital of the world, the US garlic industry has lost that status. By 1990, Chinese garlic had flooded the US market with about 60 million pounds. This imported garlic was about 4 times cheaper than American garlic, which severely affected the industry. Although the US government raised tariffs to curb the impact of Chinese garlic, many garlic farms closed. Half of California's largest garlic packing plants have disappeared in the past decade. In just a few months, the amount of cheap garlic imported into the United States is nearly equal to the annual production of Christopher Ranch, the largest garlic packing plant in the country. In addition, a shortage of workers has caused garlic farms to shrink. Therefore, their only solution to this problem is to increase wages for workers. This also leads to increased labor costs, affecting profits and decisions to develop farms. All these factors have pushed large-scale garlic farms and factories in the United States into an unprecedented, difficult situation. The garlic industry in the United States is no longer as dominant as it once was. But in this situation, farmers still find a ray of hope. New directions have been implemented to increase profits, as the average American consumes 2.5 pounds of garlic per year. One of the most popular trends today is organic garlic production. With health awareness and changing consumption habits, consumers are increasingly paying attention to the quality and safety of products. Therefore, many farms are also applying organic garlic growing techniques to meet this demand. Therefore, there are special garlic products priced up to $1 per bulb. In addition, increasing modern machinery and equipment and reducing labor are also effective ways to increase productivity and limit costs. Farms are gradually focusing on product quality. It is predicted that garlic production in the United States will continue to increase in the coming years. This is a positive signal for garlic factories to recover and develop in the future. Do you think the US garlic production and processing industry will regain its glory? Please share your opinion in the comments section.